Captain, incoming message.
It was the dawn of the third age of mankind. Groovy.
Hi-ho. This is me, Kermit the Frog.
Hello there.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Not a great plan.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Hey there, we're those Sci-Fi guys, and this is that Those Sci-Fi Guys show. Just two working dudes, different lives, different jobs, but a whole lot of love for science fiction and the fun that comes with. We are your hosts. I am P.S. McKay, completely unprepared, unprepped, and unsatisfied.
I'm G.G. Cabman, and I'm leaving that shit alone.
I should have said unsatisfying, but...
That's even worse.
I know.
Run it back through your mind, my friend. Run it back.
No, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late for that. How you doing, DT?
I'm doing, my man. I'm doing.
Good, good.
Just came back from a little trip to Quarks.
Ah, yes.
Had
I could only
ale.
build a replicator.
Well, I mean, you know, it's a It's one of the franchises. I didn't make it all the way to the original Quarks, you know.
I was thinking of you have a Quarks glass. That's why you said that. I was thinking about those Taco Bell glasses that I got from 1984 for Star Trek 3. And I'm like, why don't I use that? And I'm like, I'm afraid I'm going to like chip the paint or something on those things.
Well, the thing you got to understand about Taco Bell is, you know, they shouldn't have been giving you glasses anyway, because it's usually you take a bite, you go to take a sip, something hits you, you end up dropping and spilling your drink,
and it's
as
a mad
you're running
dash.
to the bathroom.
It's mad dash against the clock.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's why they only did it the one time to sell glass. That's why you can't find any more of those glasses. Everybody else dropped them because they ate Taco Bell.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember their old thing, "Run for the Border"?
Run for the border. Yes.
It used to be when they were trying to do truth in advertising, they were like, "Run for the bathroom." Oh wait, that's not gonna sell. Run for the border.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't think they use that advertiser either anymore.
Nope. But UPS, what can Brown do for you? Seriously, guys? Seriously.
You know, UPS guys, you know, they're perfectly fine eating at Taco Bell. If they have a mess.
That's why he wore his brown pants. That guy's got the right idea. He brought his brown pants.
Men, bring me my brown pants.
Okay, here we go. I've been trying to download this damn photo forever.
Mon Dieu.
I know. We have no formal show planned for today. It's just catch as catch can. I want to talk about movie ticket stubs for a second, because it came up when my brother was guesting on here, and I found the Star Trek Insurrection ticket stub from December 11th, 1998. 88. Haha, nice. And this is before the days of Fandango, where I actually went to the movie theater Thursday night and bought the 3 tickets. Because there's three of us that went, right?
I do believe so.
Yeah. And I remember, you know, I was going through my ticket stubs and stuff. I went to the movies a lot in high school. Like a lot. There was a stretch where I was going every weekend. And you know, and not like at a reasonable hour, like at 9. We're talking like 11:25 p.m., 10 p.m., like really late in high school. And you know, we're grown adults and we have children and responsibilities now and everything. But did you do that when you were in high school?
Did I do what? Go to a lot of
movies and
yeah.
late,
Yeah.
very late.
Well, late was like the 9 o'clock show.
No,
I'm serious.
I know. Did you have a curfew?
It's not so
Explicit
much
curfew?
that. Once I was driving on my own, I generally needed to be back. I think till I was like 18. I think I needed to be back by 11. But if I was catching like a 9:30 movie, with friends, I'd clear it with the folks, but that was usually it.
Yeah, I didn't have an explicit curfew, and I did routinely come home late, like at 2 or 3 a.m. But I was a good kid. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing any drugs or anything. There was only just a couple places that I was, and they knew that. But if
one was Taco Bell.
Actually, no, I really never ate Taco Bell until no, I only ate Taco Bell at our high school because they had it on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, the last time I ate at Taco Bell was probably 15 years ago, and it was mostly against choice.
Yeah. My kids and my wife love Taco Bell. I'm okay with it. It's all right.
I live a mile, 2 miles from a great Mexican restaurant.
Wait, there's a good Mexican restaurant in southern New England?
I've actually found 2.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating.
The one that's right down my road, you literally have to drive by a Taco Bell to get there. The Taco Bell's been there for like 6 months, and I'm highly disappointed in the town charter allowing it to be in. I mean, I would have been fine with like a Steak and Shake or a In-N-Out burger.
In-N-Out.
I don't give a shit, and I don't give a shit about an In-N-Out burger. I'm not saying I want a White Castle here either, but there's not a Burger King in town. I'd take that.
There's no Burger King in town anymore? Was
Well,
there ever?
Not on that strip. No, I don't think so. The McDonald's was there, and it's still there. And
it's still there. That one. Is that the McDonald's that they used to serve brunch on Sundays? Like a brunch buffet?
The McDonald's has been in the same place my entire life.
Well, there we go. Then it was that one.
There used to be a Wendy's across the street. Then it was like a D'Angelo's and a Pizza Hut, I think. Now it's a bank, and it's highly disappointing. The Friendlies that was across the street from the McDonald's, and a lot of Friendlies have gone. There's still a few out there, but
that saddens me. I liked Friendlies.
You can drive by a building, and you're like, oh, that was a Friendlies, because they all kind of looked very similar. And then you find an actual Friendlies, and you're like, you just bought some random building or had built something. You don't have the old outline, and it's fine. It's still a Friendlies.
Yeah.
But the Friendlies across the street from the McDonald's is now a liquor store. So I really enjoyed going to it as a kid, and now I enjoy going to it as an adult for much different reasons.
It's very many different reasons.
It is a good liquor store, though.
Well, okay, good. I'm glad. I'm happy for new business and capitalism capitalizing, because that's good for everyone.
I mean, there's literally 3, maybe 4 fast food restaurants, not including donut places, on that street between my house and the center of town. Mm-hmm. There's a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, there's a KFC, there's a Papa Gino's. There might be a Subway in there.
A Subway?
So maybe 5. Yeah. But right past, if you zip right past the um, Papa Gino's, there's this little strip mall, and it has one of the best Mexican food places I've ever eaten at outside of like a Texas border town.
You have had experience with real genuine Mexican food.
Yes.
I mean, you lived in Texas.
If you walk into a Mexican restaurant and it looks like it's the size of a postage stamp, and the people who are serving you in their primary language isn't English, that's a good sign.
It's a very good sign. And if you see other people of that same culture patronizing that establishment, that means it passed the test.
Oh, yeah. Took Mrs. Caveman there, who spent most of her most of her childhood and good chunk of her adult life in Texas. It's one of her favorite places to eat.
Nice. Well, that's a good sign.
My folks thought it was a win when they got her stamp of approval back like 15 years ago. All right, so we were right. This is good Mexican food.
Gosh, I can't. That's funny. It's almost like your parents were courting her for her approval. I love that. That's cute.
So, a family that moved into the neighborhood after you guys moved out.
Mm-hmm. Same house?
They had the house right across from the circle.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
It was nice people, but one year, might have been 10 plus years ago, we were home visiting for a long weekend or something, and the neighbors were having like they were branding it like some sort of like Texas style barbecue. But the father was the husband father that was a lawyer.
Okay. Yeah.
They had some money, so they threw this big shindig, like big, and like they had like people coming in there like smoking and seasoning. I mean, this was not like some dude backyard barbecue.
This was not. Yeah, this was not someone standing back there with a kiss the chef apron and a natty light in hand.
Yeah, we went and we dug in. The food was great, and when Mrs. Caveman gave her stamp of approval as pretty good Texas quality stuff, it's like, oh my God, that means so much. It means we did. Really, the mother was like so excited that Mrs. Caveman had approved.
Nice.
Like, it was good.
That's cute. I like that.
And we do a lot of things. You do a lot of things in life, that revolve around food.
Yes.
And, one of the things I said once I graduated college, joined the Army and especially after like my first or second promotion, once I made captain, it was like I wasn't buying like a 30 rack of like Coors Light. I was, settling on decent. I wasn't becoming a craft beer snob. No. But I made this point to my wife. It's like, you don't want Coors Light anymore? I'm like, I make too much money to drink cheap beer.
I should treat myself.
Now, I will say this, Coors, I'm not shitting on Coors Light. It's kind of watery, but when it's 106 degrees outside, and you're at some forced unit barbecue, and, a couple of cool Coors Lights just go down smooth. They stay cold. That's one of the things.
They do stay
cold. Coors
cold.
Light do stay cold.
They do stay cold.
So they were really good. They were really good to have in Texas.
Because it's hot in Texas. It's sweltering.
Yep.
And not hating on Texas, that's just a fact. Hey, Central Valley, California, I think can give Texas a run for its money when it comes to that stuff. But
I wouldn't drink. I would drink Coors Light over Corona any day. I don't like Corona. I think it's watery.
I'm not a fan of it. The requirement is you have to put a lime in it in order to enjoy it, that's not a good
Exactly.
beer.
No,
That's not a
you
good
have
beer.
to add something to the beer.
Then the beer's not ready.
Yeah, I mean, they'll give you it with a Dos Equis, and you can have, and it does enhance the flavor. But a Dos
Sure.
Equis is a good beer. Same thing with a Blue Moon. You know, they'll like to serve it with an orange slice, but you don't need the orange slice.
Right.
It does help some of the flavor pop a little bit, but
Sure.
just drink Blue Moon out of a can and enjoy it. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Exactly.
you almost need that lime in a Corona.
You do. You really
The only
do.
time I willingly drank Corona was at my boss's villa in my first tour in Saudi. He would have like a Thursday afternoon, you know, invite everybody to his villa. Well, there was only 10 of us, so it wasn't like, so we'd go over, and he didn't really drink much, but he always, with his ration, would buy like a couple cases of Corona and put it in his fridge for us. And one that was beer money I wasn't spending.
Right.
Because we had a ration, so there was only so many. You had so many points, they had so much. So there was stuff
And this is abroad. This is abroad.
It was free, and in like June, and it's 115 outside at 4 in the afternoon. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah,
that's funny. That I like that.
I'm currently drinking a Smithwick's right now.
A Smithwick's. What is that?
It is a nice red. It's an Irish red.
Okay.
Smithwick's is owned by Guinness. I found this delightful. Note the red.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
While at I guess you would call them a big box store. I'll just say I was at a BJ's, getting we were getting,
not like we're getting paid big money for this, by the way.
Yeah.
So
so you go to one of those big bulk stores, right?
Mm-hmm.
Costco, Sam's, BJ's is the close one to us, and so it's been handy. I actually bought my patio furniture there. It's a very nice set.
Yeah, that's a good set. I like that. That was
Thank
good.
you. Yes, it's nice. It's comfortable. I put it together myself, and I'm not the most handy guy in the world, so I actually feel pretty proud of that. But I picked a good set. It was not. I looked at sets at Home Depot and other places. It was less expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Seems pretty good quality. It's gone through 2 summers and 2 winters now, and it's holding up well. And it's
brutal
the
winters,
perfect
by the
size.
way. Although this winter hasn't been as bad as last year.
Last
year
year's
pretty
wasn't
brutal.
even that bad either,
Really?
comparatively. Yeah, but needless to say, I go in there and we're buying some bulk things we need. You go and you get the, whatever. You buy the bulk thing of toilet paper, the bulk thing of paper towels.
Mm-hmm.
I will get like the big, like 24 packs of bottles of Gatorade for, to take, to work, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But as I was walking through, they've actually, over the years, have built up a decent liquor aisle. They have like a beer and wine aisle and then like a liquor aisle. I walked in, and they're almost like it was calling to me.
Uh-oh.
Because I also bought my beer fridge there. So
yeah.
it was a good deal, and it's worked. There was a big Guinness box that was a set. It's the St. Patrick's Day set. It didn't really say it. It's 3 16-ounce or 5 16-ounce cans of Guinness, 5 16-ounce cans of Harp and 5 16-ounce cans of Smithwick's.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
Pint
That's
cans.
a pretty sweet amount.
Yeah.
Pint cans. Damn, dude.
I filled this glass all the way up to just under the rim with the can.
Nice.
A regular 12-ounce will get you maybe to this
Yeah.
as a 12-ounce.
How many
Still
ounces
fine.
of pint? 16?
I think so. Maybe 15.
Something like
I think
that.
it's 16. I don't care that much.
Yeah.
Needless to say, it was great. And it's getting towards St. Patrick's Day, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this weekend I'm going beer hunting. It'll be March, and I know Narragansett last year they at their brewery and it's kind of like their micro brew pub. You go, you can get some apps. At the site, it's overlooking India Point Park and right outside Providence.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. The parking's just shitty, and
Right.
it's always crowded when the weather's good. But I figure because last year they released, they'll release like little micro brews, like limited ones. You may or may not see them in local stores, but they released a St. Patrick's Day themed. I think it was an Irish Red last year that I kept looking in the stores, and then I didn't realize until after the fact that you probably need to go to the brewery to do so. So I have since found some decent things there. You go and you buy like a 4-pack, So I might do that. I'm keeping my eyes out for the some of the better St. Patrick's theme, the Irish beers. So
That would be fun. That'd be a lot of fun. I always find St. Patrick's Day to be. I'm not a big partaker in celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Shockingly enough, I know.
Neither are the Irish, really. It's a feast day.
Yeah.
It's just America that really like Cinco de Mayo.
And I've got an idea about that, and I'll explain that in a second. But
It'd be like everybody's American on the 4th of July, and they're all drinking Budweiser and Sam Adams and.
I don't know about you, but I kind
dogs.
of. I mean, I'm like, if you're celebrating our nation's independence and you're not a citizen, I'll welcome you with open arms. Like, hell yeah, man, come on in, drink my beer, let's do this.
It's kind of like Cinco de Mayo was a great Mexican victory against, I think, the French during the invasion. I think it was the Battle of Pueblo.
Oh no,
the French. When the French invaded,
You're right. I'm an idiot.
Figuring that the U.S. was a little too busy with its Civil War, the French decided to
break the Monroe Doctrine,
reclaim, or since Mexico had like defaulted on its debts,
yes,
to France, they're like, well, I guess we'll just come on in and hey, here's an imperial overseer.
This is our flag. May we.
Within a couple months of the ending of the Civil War, the U.S. sent like 40,000 troops down to the Texas border to remind the French,
you need to get out.
Get the hell out. Eventually the Mexicans pushed the French out. The emperor was executed and all this fun stuff. But I believe Cinco de Mayo I believe it's supposed to be the.
It's celebrated in a very small sector of Mexico, but it's a big Mexican pride thing in the United States, and I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. If I can as long as I can celebrate it with you, because I love celebrations.
Victory over the Second French Empire in the Battle of Puebla in 1862.
And there we go.
Led by General Ignacio Zaragoza.
There it is.
Yep.
So
it's funny, like some of these holidays have like cultural aspects to them. Like obviously Cinco de Mayo in the U.S. it's kind of celebrated as like, hey, it's Mexican Party Day. Everybody's Mexican on Cinco de Mayo, and there's always parties at bars and stupid, people waving Mexican flags. Not that the Mexican flag is stupid, but every random person is like, no,
Yeah.
they don't want the Mexicans in the country until Cinco de Mayo.
Until
right?
Cinco de Mayo, and then it's okay. I know.
Right?
I find
I
that
mean,
hypocrisy just like infuriating.
It's a little ridiculous.
I mean, it's offensive. Let's be honest. And you and I are not offensive capitulators here, but
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't fully enjoy some Cinco de Mayo. People have thrown parties, and I very much like Mexican food. If you're serving me, homemade tacos or tortilla, or fajitas, carne asada,
homemade carne asada, and a chicken.
I love carne asada.
Oh my god, and a chicken dish to be put on homemade tortillas. My mouth is watering right now.
My brother-in-law makes the best carne asada.
Oh my god.
My brother-in-law is from Sonora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Born in the U.S., but his family's all from Sonora, so he spent a lot of time growing up there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
I mean, he's really funny too. He's very subtle funny. Got a great
I heard a lot of Sonorans don't have a great sense of humor.
What? I'm not.
That's my point. Why did you bring that up? Like
no, not he. No, because
the way you said it, the way you said it sounded like that's what the implication was.
No, it's more of he always makes me laugh.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's got such a low key but very, very acute and very sharp sense of humor. It's just so funny. So like anytime I think of like when we'll get together, I always laugh because he always cracks me up.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's been too long. We got to work something out to see them again. If nothing else, I'd love to, crack some more jokes together.
Nothing better than a good family member that you could have a great time with.
I know.
Like
I definitely. Well, in my family, my dad's side of the family, they're the Irish side, so they were always very St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
My grandparents were both half Irish. I loved my grandmother to death. She was the most wonderful woman. But my dad, because both of my dad's parents were half Irish, right? So if you were to go ahead and think, oh, well, my dad is half Irish. My grandmother insisted that he wasn't half Irish. He was 2/4. This was my grandmother's reasoning. I gave you a half. Your father gave you, I was half. Your father's half. So you're a quarter. So you're 2/4. You're not half.
There's the great Irish wit right there.
I know. Oh. I miss them so much, especially at St. Patrick's Day, because she always cooked corned beef and cabbage. Now, my uncle, who was taking care of them towards the end of their lives and then inherited the house and the retirement community they were living in, he's now taken the mantle of doing corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day.
That before, yeah.
That's one of the going to the family holidays is one of the best reasons about being home. And he lives 2 towns over. He literally lives like 3 miles from where I work. So
nice.
Like I'll stop by and see him periodically, like usually when I'm opening and I'm getting out at like 2 p.m, I'll drive over there, stop by, say hello. If he needs me to pick something up for him, that one, especially after he had surgery last year, was a pleasure. But he really loves doing this for the family, and then everybody comes over to his house, and and he's got my grandmother's recipe. And 2 years ago, my sister was over, and the two of them were working on it. And then of course she got the adoption, and so she's had a little less time to go over there and do that. But Mrs. Cavman is not Irish in the slightest, but she'll go and find like Irish soda bread. There's this really nice little Irish shop 2 miles away or 3 miles away, right down the main road I live off of. In the next town over, drive right down, right next to the next town's high school. and it's just this beautiful little Irish store, and there's always gorgeous Irish music playing, but there's knit sweaters and
Yeah.
teas and Cadbury chocolates, the imported ones, not the stuff
the
that
good
gets made
stuff.
over here.
Yeah, the really good stuff. It's so creamy. It's such good chocolate.
Yeah, everything's Claddagh and Celtic knots and Celtic crosses, and it's beautiful. Mrs. Kaufman is not Irish in the slightest. She's the definitive
she's
of
IBM.
She's
Irish by marriage.
Yeah, she is. She's orange, right, by birth, not green, right?
Well, what does that mean? Hold on, because I thought orange was like a North Irish thing or Protestant thing. We're not going to go too far into it. Don't worry.
The green Irish are the Catholics. The orange are the Protestants.
Right.
Like William of Orange, that sort of thing.
Yes.
So she's, there's a really catchy Irish ditty by the Irish Rovers called "The Orange and the Green." And it's about a guy who grew up with a Catholic father and a Protestant mother or something like that.
Your father actually introduced me to that song when he posted it
fun.
on Facebook one day. And I listened to it and I'm like, oh, I guess that would be a thing. Yeah.
But St. Patrick's Day was always big in our family. And throughout the years, I've kind of weaved in and out with bigger celebrations and others. And, I've liked the fact that I've been able to introduce my wife and daughter to our history. We do not watch Up the Long Ladder on St. Patrick's Day.
I don't even know what that is.
The space Irish.
Oh yeah. Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Another one of those.
How offensive. How bad was that? I was so starved for good Irish representation on TV when I was growing up that I actually liked Up the Long Ladder just because I got to hear the accents. Like the fake Irish accents, like the Irish accents, like and I was.
They were Irish, but they really laid heavily into the cartoonish.
Oh yeah, believe me, yes, I know. You don't watch, but I do watch Darby O'Gill and the Little People every year,
and that will lean a little into it sometimes too,
especially
with
great.
their Scotsman as the main character.
Yeah, but you lay into the crack, Darby.
I'm from. Hello, I'm Darby O'Gill. Darby O'Gill.
He wasn't Darby.
I know.
Alan O'Shea was. That's funny though. I know that was his first film gig, which is crazy.
It was his first film?
Yeah, that was his first gig ever as an actor.
He was also in The Longest Day.
What was that?
The legendary World War II movie from the early 60s. The Longest Day. It was one of those big epics that had everybody and their mother in it.
That's
You're talking John Wayne,
D-Day,
Henry
right?
Fonda. Yeah, D-Day.
That's right. That's
Jeffrey
a movie
Hunter.
I need to see. Yeah, that's Jeffrey Hunter. Let's bring it into Sci-Fi right there. Jeffrey Hunter, who my wife fell in love with. Seeing him in some Western. It was what movie was it? It wasn't The Big Muddy. Maybe it was The Big Muddy. I don't know. But
The Searchers with John Wayne.
What about The Searchers?
Jeffrey Hunter was in it. He was this co-lead, essentially.
Huh. Shit, this movie doesn't even exist anymore.
What?
The Big Muddy. It was like from 1954 or something like that, and it's not even on
UPS bought it out.
What can Brown do for you? Well done, sir. You're
welcome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I got to tell you, so John Wayne didn't do a lot of good for some of the Irish at times, too.
What was that? The Irish Post always posts something at least twice
The
a
Quiet
year.
Man wasn't bad. The Quiet Man was actually not bad.
Was that with Maureen O'Hara?
Well, he starred in like 6 movies with Maureen O'Hara.
Yeah.
She lived to be like damn near 100 too.
Yeah. Oh my God, she was just a vision, an angel. My goodness.
With that sharp Irish tongue, that stereotypical sharp Irish tongue.
Well, I mean, the Irish women had to have that sharp tongue because, Jesus Christ, let's be honest, the men did them no favors.
Now, you're really laying into stereotypes. Who are you, Brenna Odell?
Maybe. No, but when I was in Ireland and I stayed at my my homestay over there at an Irish family, wonderful family, greatest family, so wonderful. The parents were awesome. Gosh, they were great. I just had such a great time with them.
I stayed in Holland for my homestay.
And they didn't like nice saltwater taffy.
They found it weird.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have even thought about it, but it was a taste of home. You know, you wanted it.
Well, that's what you want to do, right? Yeah.
Right. But yeah, they were a very nice, very kind family too, which is great. The man, dude, Ireland's on the bucket list for me though. I've technically been to Ireland, or I've never really been in Ireland.
Yeah, you were in the airport.
Maybe I was in Ireland, but never to Ireland is more really what it was. Shannon Airport a couple of times, usually like in very strange hours. And depending on who was the senior officer on the flight, whether or not they would allow you to drink. And I never had a senior officer who was cool.
Oh, that sucks.
To drink a pint of Guinness, even in the damn airport.
Guinness. A real Guinness.
A real Guinness, even in the damn
That's what
airport.
I want to do. I want to drink a real Guinness because I hear it tastes so different. It tastes much better in Ireland than it does here.
Well, I've drank real Guinness in Germany.
Please continue.
It's probably pretty close to the stuff you'll get in Ireland.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure it is.
I've drank in like 2 or 3 Irish pubs in Germany.
That's so funny. Irish pubs in Germany.
One of my favorite Irish bands, the High Kings, have a song called the Irish Pub Song, which includes the line, "Where basically wherever you go in the world, you'll find an Irish pub."
It's so damn true.
Even funny, they were singing about there's one in this and one in that, and in the original recorded version it was Moscow, but now they sing Kiev.
Kiev.
They sing Kiev in the.
Yeah, I know. That was, it's a thing.
Dude, it wasn't Kiev, the Western world, until like 2 years.
2 years ago, it was 2. Yeah, and then we realized.
Kiev.
Oh,
I've always ever heard it pronounced Kiev.
Yeah, because that's the Russian pronunciation.
I call it Kiev now too.
I call it Kiev now too, but
it's not what the Irish band calls it. It's not what the High Kings call it.
It's funny how the media just went, boop, we're calling it Kiev. All right, here we go. But to go back to your bucket list of going to Ireland, I was very lucky to have visited Ireland when I was 14. I was there for 8 days, I think, and it was a wonderful time. My wife and I keep saying we want to take the kids to Ireland, but we're trying to figure out a good time to do that. Like, when do you take the kids to Ireland? Now, when I went, I was 14. So I'm thinking, okay, so we want to take the kids when they're like pretty close to driving age so that they remember it all. But we don't want to do it when they're in college.
We're kind of looking at maybe even next year. This year is right out because we put money into a home generator.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's
with the
smart,
extreme weather patterns and all the windstorms we've had.
Oh my God, yeah. Smart.
So, but because we were kicking around the idea of doing another cruise this year because we did a cruise last year.
Uh-huh.
Now, the wife really wants to do an Alaskan cruise, and I'm all over
I would like
it
to
myself.
do that too.
So that's definitely on the list. But next year is my parents' 50th, and I know they've kicked the idea of doing a cruise, but we're kind of considering maybe if they don't or whatever, we're considering maybe Ireland next year.
Well, I hope you can do it. I that would be wonderful.
Join us. We'll all go together.
Oh, how cool would that be if we could do that?
It would be cool. Of course, that means we'd have to bring your brother, and
No, we won't have to do that. That's his fault.
We
But
could
let me
try to
think.
go find the birthplace of Miles O'Brien.
Yeah, we could actually. That'd be awesome. Or just
mean,
Comini.
Valdez, Alaska is actually there's I think a bill to put a future birthplace of
Will Riker.
Will Riker.
That's awesome. Please do.
Much like
There's a statue for Janeway.
It's like Bloomington, Indiana, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's in Indiana. And then you got the shrine to Captain Kirk in Iowa. Yeah.
There's a lot of Leonard Nimoy love in Vulcan, Alberta.
Yeah, what the hell?
And
fine.
I know Boston's trying to raise the money for this statue to be outside the Museum of Science.
Oh, that'd be
That's
great.
a tribute to Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
We used to do the voiceover
just
for the Omni Theater.
Just
Yeah.
the
A
hand,
giant hand.
not Leonard Nimoy himself.
It would be a tribute to him, but a giant hand.
Yeah. I kind of
Did you know that?
thing.
Did you know that Scrooge McDuck is listed as one of like the top 3 most famous Glaswegians in history?
What the hell is a Glaswegian?
Glasgow.
Oh, okay. No, I did not know that, but that makes sense.
By the
Oh,
way, David
jeez.
Tennant's Scrooge McDuck has really grown on me. I actually was pleased, looking forward to it because I like David Tennant, and I actually like him much better with a Scottish accent than with an English accent.
He's
I'm sure he feels better.
This Scrooge McDuck is a much more empathetic Scrooge McDuck in the new DuckTales.
He's also a little
still
more
has gruff-
impulsive.
He's a little more impulsive. But he's not as gruff as the 87 or 88 DuckTales were.
The longer I watch that show, the more in jokes, referential.
many.
It's
So many Easter eggs.
Well-
All the Easter eggs.
We were watching an episode the other night about there's like this big freak storm happening in Duckburg, and they have like the field reporters live from Duckburg, where life is like a hurricane.
Yeah.
And then I hear Mrs. Catman perk up, who technically doesn't watch the show.
Right. Yeah. No, but she's in the room with you, and she's
She's like, that's the theme song. And then the other day I heard her walking through the do 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 do. Are you doing the DuckTales theme song? She's like, it's
Maybe.
so darn catchy. Like it is.
It is.
That's
That's
why
why.
they brought it back.
That's what sold the show, dude. and then he just had a great show with all adventures and stuff, which is awesome.
Almost every time I catch like a self-deprecating joke, like a meta joke, I laugh harder than any other jokes.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
My son would laugh. He would watch the show with one eye on the TV and one eye on me to register if there was something that he needed to know about, because I would catch the self-referential jokes, and he'd be like, "Oh, I need to know this now. Please tell me." Like he would pause it. It would take us an hour to get through one episode because of all the pauses and stuff that we did.
To explain things.
Yeah, it was a great watching DuckTales with him was such a wonderful bonding experience.
I started watching it with my kid, and like now I just keep watching episodes. So when she goes to bed, I'm sorry. It's just it's really well written. It's really fun, and damn if she didn't make a really great version of the theme song.
Yeah, that's great.
If I have plenty of time, I won't skip the theme song. If I got shit I gotta do, I'll skip the theme song. But
right. Yeah, no. How many other shows do you just like skip intro? You hit that, but here you gotta live this.
I love
You
Star
live
Trek.
this.
I love a lot of the Star Trek themes, particularly the classic ones, and I'll still skip the theme song.
Yeah, exactly. But for DuckTales, there's a lot going on in that intro too, by the way. So like for the eye, so you gotta. So there's more. You see things that you didn't see previously.
Well, no, it's like I don't think there's anything directly, like there's very little in the way of scenes directly from episodes. It looks like it's mostly just its own animation, which
That is
I actually
true.
think it's very good. I like the chase through Duckburg, and then Scrooge finally catches the dime at the very end with his cane. The end
Yeah.
of one of the letters, and the whole Duck family's cornered by all the bad guys, and then Launchpad crashes the plane into the T, and all the bad guys fall off. So
Right. I know.
no, we're safe.
And I love that
What-
it's an homage to the comics from whence they started, like that intro, because they're going
There's
from
a lot
panel
of
to
that,
panel,
right?
and, you know,
It's very comic booky.
mhm.
It's kind of, and the colors are very almost flat, like comic book too. Not quite as vibrant as 1987.
No.
Which, by the way, speaking of 1987, Scrooge McDuck has a home security robot in the show. It's called DT-87.
No way, really?
Yes. Yeah, it's written right on there. It's like, hey, DT-87, you got to protect the house.
Wow,
And I
that's
looked at
awesome.
it, and Mrs. Cavan, man, joke, DT, oh, like you. I'm like, no, that's
No.
DT-87. That's Ducktales 87. It's a joke.
That's
It's
the
like,
show. That's the first
"Oh,
show.
That's clever. It's like,
No.
that's clever.
It's not clever. It's brilliant.
Look, I'll take what I can get.
I know.
There are so many, but what I love too is there's so many jokes where they'll say lines from the theme song at different points in this.
Yeah.
Like the other day or earlier today, I was watching an episode. They're like, "Woo, let's rewrite history."
Yeah. I bet that was the guy that played Abed from Community.
Whoever, no, he plays Huey.
Yeah.
I want to say it's
Yeah.
Dewey is Ben Schwartz. I think it was Dewey.
Okay.
They
Dewey's
give the
blue,
character
right?
Dewey's blue, and he's
Yeah.
the one who uses "do" and everything.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. It's been a few years. I got to do a rewatch. I got to rewatch everything.
Yeah.
God dang. Like my son, he's rewatching Young Sheldon because we need to start watching season 5 of Young Sheldon because we want to finish the show. And we just we got so much to watch.
My
So
kid
much.
is binge watching Young Sheldon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. On Netflix, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you though that when I went back and I'm like, who's this? Who's that? As I'm looking through, the voice cast of the DuckTales reboot is sick.
Stacked.
They get like
Stacked.
Lance Reddick was a recurring antagonist. Lance Reddick, man.
Mhm.
Dude's in everything, or not anymore. But that Allison Channing is Goldie. I mean, I'm like, where's the voice actors? They don't live here anymore.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'll have somebody who, like when they do a flashback to Donald as a kid, it's the lady who used to do Huey, Dewey, and Louie
Oh yeah.
does the voice of young Donald Duck. I'm like,
That's
that is
right. They
brilliant.
did. That was brilliant,
That is
wasn't
brilliant.
it? Poor
Yeah,
thing. She
they
died
have
halfway through
literally-
production.
Well, she was in her 90s.
She was, but she sounded great.
She
sounded
did.
great in that
She
role.
sounded amazing. Alan Young, the original Scrooge or the I guess he wasn't the original, but he was the longest serving. He, like, took over
Yes.
whatever, like the 70s or whatever. He died like just before production on the new show.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
I
upset.
think
I was really pissed that David Tennant was doing it. Not because I don't like David Tennant, but I'm like, how can you do a Scrooge McDuck without Alan Young? And then I found out how old he was, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I'm glad we have the Once Upon, Once Upon those holiday specials that are on.
Mickey's
Once Upon a Christmas. Yeah,
oh my
I'm
God,
glad
when
we
my
have
kid
that.
was like 4 years old, those were on all the time.
I'm sure. Yeah.
All the time. Once Upon a Christmas, Twice Upon a Christmas.
Twice Upon a Christmas. But the Once Upon a Christmas had traditional animation, and it had all the original voices from Ducktales on there, except Launchpad wasn't there, but that's okay. Should have been Launchpad, but what?
Launchpad he's just such a great character.
I freaking love Launchpad.
He is a bit dumber in the reboot.
Yeah, for comedic effect. I know. But, it's okay. I mean, Launchpad was never a bastion of moral certitude anyway. He was always there for laugh effects and stuff. So
he was very cocky. He was a pilot. Just not a great pilot. But
never.
I always loved him. I always loved Launchpad.
Yeah.
I mean, it the thing that I really have enjoyed about this is that it literally salutes almost every cartoon from the Disney afternoon until well beyond the DuckTales lineup. The Quack Pack, the Goof Troop, they've all gotten tips. Tailspin, Rescue Rangers. I mean, I was watching an episode.
You saw the Rescue Rangers episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the one where they're like, they're fighting foul, and then like they create Gadget, or is that what her name? Gadget.
Gadget, yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're playing the theme song as you see like the rodents like building. Yeah. It's just the instrumental.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They're the Rescue Rangers.
I was laughing my butt off.
I haven't reached the Tailspin episode yet. The Gummy Bears episode was very subtle. I mean, It was all about the search for gummy berry juice, the gummy berries and the gummy berry juice. Had all the great sound effects. Darkwing Duck is kind of like weaved in and out of seasons 2 and 3.
Well, it was Darkwing Duck was a major spin-off of DuckTales back in the day, but it was so weird because back then you didn't want a shared universe.
Which they technically don't consider DuckTale or Darkwing Duck. The creators of Darkwing Duck didn't consider it a spinoff. They just took Launchpad and like Duckburg, but
DuckTales, but Launchpad even references Scrooge McDuck when
and Gizmo Duck
comes in.
Yeah.
But yeah, we used to work for the same guy. Like, that's what he said, literally. Didn't say the name, nothing like that. But it was so weird that they didn't want to capitalize on that, because I always found that fun. Like, obviously, Marvel showed that how fun that could be. And DuckTales totally capitalized on it in 2017 or 2018 or whatever it came out.
The one major recurring character from DuckTales 87 that did not make the jump to 2017, and it's kind of a crime too, but because Donald Duck never joined the Navy, you never get Peter Cullen's Admiral Grimmets, the guy who keeps wanting to blow shit up. I love it when things go kablooey. It's basically Peter Cullen doing a little bit of John Wayne. It's great. It's great. Yeah. I loved it. I loved it.
The fact that you remember that name, Admiral Grimmets. Grimmets, by the way.
It just, I mean,
not Nimitz, but
once
he's
I got
Grim
older
is.
and I realized, oh well, it's a play on Admiral Nimitz. Okay, well that's
Yeah.
cool. And then I was looking up the voice cast, and they're like, yeah, the voices, because it's like one big article. It's like, oh, okay, this is who it was in 2017, but this is who it was in '87, and they're like, this is who the character was in 1987. He's the only major recurring character from '87 who didn't show up in 2017.
There it is.
To quote Whoopi Goldberg, "Fuck a duck." Come on, man. The man is a legend. They didn't. None of the other shows were connected to, to Ducktales, and they brought him in. You couldn't give Peter Cullen the time of day. Damn you! Oh, this new Glomgold too is just out of control.
I like him. I like this Glomgold. I like him a lot.
I like the voice of the original Glomgold better, though.
I would agree with that.
But I know they do it this way on purpose because he's a South African faking a Scottish accent. That's what this is supposed to be, because the original character was South African until they were like getting ready to put it out, and they're like, oh yeah,
we don't want to promote South Africa right now.
I think and an Australian accent just wouldn't cut it.
It wouldn't have worked. No, I mean it would have made sense because he's so tough, but yeah.
They brought back some pretty solid. They brought in some pretty strong. I mean, Gizmo Duck is Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, I know. I mean, yeah, I honestly think, first of all, the animation's top notch, especially for
it's
a serial show, right? Very good. We know that it's all computers and stuff. That's fine. I have to wonder, how much did they spend on the voice actors? Because that had to have been some scratch, right?
Oh yeah,
like quite a bit, right? I mean, or
did they get them
to scale because DuckTales was such a cultural phenomenon?
Probably.
We don't know.
You probably could have got. I think you, but like Allison Janney. This was, I think, before she won the Oscar.
What did she win the Oscar for? You're gonna look it up.
I have to now. I can't. Because I think it was recent. Yep, she won the Oscar. She was born in Boston. How did I not know this? Oh, yeah, because she was raised in Ohio, of course.
Well, yeah. Sorry. That was a scene.
She won
for
I, Tanya, on the Academy Award. She was Tanya Harding's mom.
When did that come out? 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good movie, by the way.
Well, actually, she wins that. And then she's on DuckTales. I mean, and then she did Mom. She was doing Mom. I mean,
yeah, she was doing Mom.
She's
as an Oscar winner. So I mean, TV
yeah.
has a different kind of feeling now.
Nowadays, like I mean, if you can slide Oscar winner anywhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, TV. First of all, we don't have celebrities anymore. There's no movie star that drives.
There's celebrities. You're talking about movie stars.
Yeah, I'm talking about movie stars. We don't have a movie star anymore. That's the death of the movie star. They used to make movies based on the actors that were in them. Hey, I'm going to go see that Tom Cruise flick and whatnot. Have you ever said I'm going to go see that Chris Pratt flick? I mean, I love Chris Pratt, but or that Jared Leto movie, or
no,
you don't hear that. But I'm gonna go see that Tom Cruise movie. Like
or that
he's
Tom
the last
Hanks
of the
movie.
Or that Tom Hanks movie. They're the last of the movie stars. Like there's no new movie star anymore. Yeah, Denzel. Yeah, right there. That's.
I think you might get some Timothy Chalamet and Zendaya. They're really
Nah.
I'm not saying
they're prolific. They're prolific. Don't get me wrong, and they are very good at their craft. But I don't think you're going to see a movie with Zendaya in it because it has Zendaya in it anymore.
She's got some tennis movie coming out.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Zendaya's got a movie. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. She's
to me, it'll probably be called that Zendaya tennis movie.
That Zendaya tennis movie, nice. I lost my point. I was gonna make a point about the whole.
You're in
being a movie. It's not about being a movie actor or a TV actor anymore, because you don't have that same kind of star pull anymore. So you're going to be more fluid between the two mediums.
Especially with prestige TV and streaming.
Right.
Like Kevin Costner kind of helped break that mold. Oscar winner.
Yeah, he'll be missed.
Yellowstone. And then they had to follow up with Oscar winners and Oscar nominees and all the other spinoffs, like Oscar nominees for, Sam Elliott, Harrison Ford, and Helen Mirren as the leads in the next two series. Hell, even Oscar winner Sylvester Stallone is in Tulsa King. It's not related to Yellowstone, but Matthew McConaughey is going to be next in that universe too. So, the money. I mean, you can't get that EGOT without that Emmy. Just remember that, folks.
No, you can't. You can't. Oh gosh, look at this thing.
Those
Vox
Sci-Fi
is
guys
trying to explain what Yellowstone is. Well, good luck with that.
Who?
So Vox. So it's a website. It's an entertainment website.
Yeah,
they're a rag. They're awful. They're just all of them are now. But I mean,
interestingly enough, I seen the full trailer for Costner's Horizon. His new monster blockbuster.
Is that,
2-part.
What's that?
It's a Western. It's like an epic Western. It's like in 2 parts.
Yeah, okay.
And they're coming out like months apart.
Really?
Like this year, part 1. Next year, part 2. No, it's like one's coming out in June. The other one's coming out in like August.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. It's stacked. There's definitely some Yellowstone overlap. There's definitely people like, I saw you on Yellowstone. I saw you on Yellowstone. There's a few.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's funny. I like that. And I have to see Yellowstone. Dude, I got to see everything. I have to finish Bad Batch Season 2.
Yes, you do.
Frick, dude.
Imagine how much stranger, Clone Wars and Bad Batch would have been if instead of like Tamora Morrison being Boba Fett, it was like, I don't know, Pierce Brosnan or Liam Neeson. He's like an Irishman.
Oh, weird. I find it funny that there's a New Zealand accent intrinsic in the clones. Like, as it is. I was thinking about that. Don't get me wrong. I love the New Zealand accent. I think, and it's an honorific to Tamora Morrison, who is just a legend. But I do find it funny that Omega has a New Zealand accent, but she lived among the cloners. Omega, but she lived among the cloners who don't have said accent. Like, what were the cloners called? They were
the Kaminoans.
Kaminoans, thank you. That's an interesting deal in and of itself. That whole story, man. With the Empire just destroying Kamino entirely.
They were a shady group of people. I'm not saying that genocide was right, but the Kaminoans were shady as shit.
You want to say that again? Record that? You're not saying you're not saying genocide was right.
I'm not saying genocide is right. I'm just saying the Kaminoans were shady. I'm not saying they deserve to be wiped out. I'm just saying that they were a shady group.
All right, walk me through this, because I've never the Attack of the Clones.
You need to watch. You see, you got to watch all of Clone Wars, and I have. That's how.
I know,
'cause
but that's filling in the backstory. It was supposed to stand alone in the movie. So we had Master Cypher Diaz of the Jedi
Yes.
Council, whom we never saw, never heard of before, but went ahead and made this deal with the Kaminoans to make a clone army.
Sifo Dyas was plagued with visions, and he basically saw the fall of the Republic, the destruction of the Jedi Order, even technically the Clone War itself, and thought, "Oh my God, we've got to." He kind of set it in motion because his visions. He's like, "Oh shit! Well, we need an army." He was working this deal, and I think the one who actually made the deal was Dooku. After he had Sifo Dyas killed, which is, funny because they were bros.
Yeah.
But,
And this is all in Clone Wars.
This is all revealed for the most part this is some of the stuff you see in Tales of the Jedi.
Right.
Where you find out that Dooku's the one who wiped Kamino from the records in the halls in the Jedi library. And then they do that arc in season 6 where Yoda goes, they find the crashed ship of Sifo Dyas, and then it kind of takes them down this rabbit hole, and then trying to find out what happened to Sifo Dyas and the creation of the clone army, and then that's when Yoda goes on his vision quest to learn more about the Force. And you get
funny.
Liam Neeson, back as Qui-Gon Jinn's disembodied voice.
It's funny you mentioned that Sifo Dyas was plagued with these visions of the future, because at the end of the workday today, my body was just crashing right at like 4:30. So I powered through, turned off my computer, and then I just went and laid down, and I put Revenge of the Sith on my phone and just had it play in the background. And I woke up to the scene where Anakin is talking to Yoda about his visions. And Yoda says, fear of the future is a path to the dark side. So, so here's the question. If he knew Sifo Dyas was plagued with these visions, and he must have known that he arranged this clone army because of those visions.
The clone army was discovered in secret.
Why was he so happy to utilize the clone army?
Well, remember, they only discovered the clone army when Obi-Wan did his investigation.
No, I know, but that should have even been more of a telltale, like, oh, whoa, why do we... Hold on a second. First of all, where'd these funds come from to fund this? And 2, what is this for? Seriously? We're supposed to be the protectors of the Republic. Why did one of our own on the council go ahead?
The Jedi were supposed to be peacekeepers.
I know, but that's not what they were. You know that.
Not what they were supposed to be.
I know, but that's not what they were. You know that.
Look, what I can say is this stuff is fleshed out a bit in Clone Wars and Tales of the Jedi. You kind of get all of this under it, and one of the best retcons that Clone Wars and like the later seasons of the Clone Wars did was they basically retconned the earlier post Revenge of the Sith things in legend where the clones were just given the order. They're like, oh, well, they're like, look, they like knew what all their general orders were. And I'm like, oh, 66. Well, and they did it of their own volition, but because they were ordered by the Chancellor.
Right.
As opposed to this chip, which then makes the story of the clones so tragic and so heartbreaking. While you see Rex fighting against his inhibitor chip in the finale of Clone Wars, you see the Bad Batch and Rex and their clone allies just struggling with the rise of the Empire, and
Sure.
even people like Cody, who his chip activates and, you know, tries to kill Obi-Wan, and even then he starts having second thoughts on that mission with Crosshair from season 2.
Right.
And which is good because Cody was the first like actual named clone I think we met in live action.
Because we didn't see Rex in live action, right? That was all Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah. Rex was a Clone Wars invention. He
Right.
and Ahsoka became the breakout characters of Clone Wars, so much so that they became, the next, leading characters behind Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they became such enduring characters that they have
Right.
proceeded to show up in follow-on media. And Rex very quickly becoming one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time.
Sure. I liked
I love
Rex,
Rex.
when I saw of him in Clone Wars. A lot.
Clone Wars, Rebels, Tales of the Jedi, and The Bad Batch. And if you believe the whole retcon theory, which Dave Filoni feeds, but he doesn't confirm.
He's a master. He's a master of retcons, Dave Filoni.
Yes, but he doesn't. He kind of teases a little that the white bearded dude with Han Solo's Endor group is actually Rex.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've teased it, but he's basically refused to confirm it.
Well, I
So-
mean, yeah, it's hard to do that. Although
don't
you have
care.
to admit that in 1983, seeing an old man with that big white goatee on the front lines of a mission like that, a little unusual.
Well, you got to remember, it's a rebellion, so any capable fighter, you probably think,
Yeah.
this guy,
Any
they probably
farmer-
dusted off.
Any
you know?
farmer off a moisture farm will do.
Or pirate.
Or pirate,
Space
yeah.
pirate.
Space
So they're like, oh, this guy's special. Probably had been in somebody's special ops unit like 25 years ago. And that was Rex. To me, that's Rex. I'll take it. I swear they made Rex look like that, particularly in the later seasons of the Rebels when they started putting him in the Rebel uniforms instead of his clone armor.
Mm-hmm.
I swear that's on purpose.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And then in Sabine's voiceover, she's like, and Hera fought at the Battle of Endor along with Commander Rex. And I'm like, oh, okay, we'll see. There you go.
Yeah, that's the thing right there, right?
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I am really hoping that we get real Rex in Ahsoka season 2.
It'd be nice. Ah, man. Who knows?
If
Luke
nothing
Skywalker
else, give
is
Rex
such
a heroic
man.
death.
Yeah, something like that.
Plus,
Right?
you could let Tamora Morrison go out in a blaze of glory as Rex in a show.
Yeah.
Or maybe Rex gets his happily retirement. Star Wars, so that's highly unlikely, but
Yeah, when does one retire in Star Wars? Seriously.
when the writers retire you.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the Mandalorian.
There are so many great clones who came up in the series. This could be an episode of their own, great clones. But one who I was very glad to see come back in season 2 of Bad Batch, because I think you were at that point. You're already past the clone conspiracy arc, right?
Yeah. And then the mining situation with the children. I just finished that one. So
from the season 1 Bad Batch arc, when they were on Ryloth, and Cham Syndulla, the hero, the liberator of Ryloth, eventually and Hera's his daughter, and then they end up having to fight back against the Empire because they felt like it, the Republic became, the Empire, and they turned into an occupation, which is what they had liberated which what they had fought the Confederacy for. And then you get this clone Captain Hauser, who basically said, no, we're not hunting these guys down. They were our friends and allies. And like him and like 4 or 5 of his clone troops were like, yeah, fuck this. We're not doing this. He was also one of the last clones you see in Bad Batch who actually still wore his color scheme.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, which was, and you know, your very first scene with him is he's wearing this nice, you know, kind of bluish green color scheme. He's having friendly chat with Jam Syndulla, you know, like 2 old war buddies. You know, hey, you're my friend. We fought side by side. Hey, thanks for everything. You know, all that stuff. And he also wanted to let Hera go when Hera was like caught snooping around. You know. He was like, oh man, this guy gets caught, then you don't see him again. I'm like, oh well, that sucks for a guy who actually seemed to be a good dude. And then he was one of the guys that Eggo and Gregor liberated when they raided. I thought that was in the Clone Conspiracy arc. Maybe, hopefully, I didn't spoil it.
No, Crazy you're throwing out names. You're throwing out names that I'm not good with.
Crazy
names.
Gregor
dates, but I can't do names.
Crazy Gregor.
What did he do?
Gregor was the commando who ended up being one of Rex's roommates in exile. He was the crazy guy who is always.
Yeah. He spoke really, in a really high pitched tone. And
Echo was the guy they rescued who had been captured by the Separatists and was like all
Echo
cyborgy.
Echo went off with Rex again at the end of the Clone Conspiracy.
Yeah. And you see in some of these episodes where they tie in with Rex and his crew, where they're like intercepting captured clones and rescuing them, which is great because I think they're setting up for like an actual clone uprising. It's one of the things they really seem to be painting towards
in the Bad Batch,
season 2 and probably into season 3.
Yeah,
I think this just where I am. I just think the clones will rise up against the Empire late in season 3. They'll fail. A lot of them will die, and the rest will go into hiding and get them in place for the later TV shows. I think the Bad Batch all dies except Omega, and she disappears somewhere to be seen in a sequel somewhere.
Yeah, live action, like Ahsoka or something.
Yeah,
which would be interesting because the voice actor for Omega is actually Asian, of Asian descent.
So was Sabine's voice actor. She was, I think she's Indian.
But Omega is just a female version of Tamora Morrison.
She's better.
So
all right, so fine. Tamora can wear a wig. You can wear a blonde wig.
Just like pull a Michael J. Fox and Back to the Future 2. I didn't know that was Michael J. Fox
Back to the Future 3, where he's the Irishman with the beard.
That I knew. That was
his great grandfather Seamus or something like that.
Yeah. Oh God, what a that'd be a trip to go back in time and to see your great grandparents or something like that. I know I'd be wildly disappointed. I would.
I don't know, man. One of the things that I like about these stream of consciousness type episodes is just where we get led to. We talked about holidays and our personal history and background.
Yeah.
How it kind of looped into some sci-fi, and then we went on to a lovely retrospective on the 2017 Ducktales.
Yeah.
That could have been an entire episode in and of itself, and
really could
I would not be heartbreaking because there's plenty of sci-fi and fantasy in this.
So much. Have you seen the Moon guys yet?
Yeah, man, I just started season 3.
Oh,
That's
okay, yeah. So the moon
Lance,
invasion and all
Lance
that.
Reddick is
Yeah.
the general from the moon. That's
Right. Yeah.
pretty cool. There's nothing to sneeze at right there. You know?
No, not in the slightest. Which is great. I love it.
Yeah. There's times I'll listen to a voice. I'm like, why does that voice sound so familiar? And then I'll look up. I'm like, okay, okay. Well played, Disney. Well
Yup.
played.
They know what they're doing, or at least no, Disney doesn't know what they're doing. But
They did
the
then.
writers for the new Ducktales knew exactly what they were doing, and they did a great job. Thank God, because that could have been very bad. They could have like dumbed it down to children, like preschool children, and made it only accessible to preschool children, like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or something. But the
Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, which I watched a lot of with my kid, was not bad.
It's not bad. It actually has grown, like complex wise.
It did throughout its run. It did grow.
Yeah. So, but they did the right thing by just honoring the original show and welcoming the original audience, so the original audience can come in and introduce it to their kids. That's what you need to do, right?
I know, right?
If only they did that with Star Wars. Like, I heard a theory, not to delve too much into some darkness here, but I want your opinion on this because I heard a theory that when Disney started producing The Force Awakens, at the time, remember that the prequels had a very bad reputation. The prequels were considered just awful, right? So what Disney was thinking was, their mentality was, we need to do the anti-prequels, where we're not going to have like CGI everywhere. We're going to have a lot of practical effects here. We're going to use real film. That's what JJ did, at least for his film. And we're gonna basically just reboot what the fans loved, which was Star Wars, A New Hope, and they kind of did that.
Exactly did that.
That's exactly what they did. So, but here's the problem, and I've argued this before. I think Star Trek fans are smarter than Star Wars fans, but Star Wars fans are not dumb. They're a very meticulous fan base with an overlapping group of Star Trek fans.
If you just watch the movies, I mean, I'm not saying you're dumb, but if you really like the intricacies and the world building, then you need to dive. If you really appreciate the animated shows and the writing that comes in with a lot of these animated shows, then you're pushing higher levels of sci-fi and quality writing.
Right. Yes. No, I agree with that completely. I'm just saying that part of the reason why the sequel trilogy fell was because they weren't trying to do anything new. They were just trying to repackage the original trilogy into its own thing, and that was it. And fans... And you can argue about the way they did the casting and the way they did the character development and everything. That was a failing in and of itself, too. But the sequel trilogy was just a reboot of the original trilogy, and it didn't build off of what the prequels were trying to build in the original universe. Right? Because, I mean, they mentioned clones once in The Force Awakens. They never mentioned it again. They talked about Darth Sidious just briefly in The Last Jedi.
Where Luke calls him Sidious as opposed to Palpatine or the Emperor or something.
Right, exactly. Which I thought was neat, but you got to do a little bit more than that, guys. Like, so... I think their reticence to do something new was I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
The reticence, I think, of Star Wars to do something new in the movies is kind of what hurt them, particularly in The Force Awakens. Like, people loved it. It was a smash. It was the first Star Wars movie in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought back a lot of the original actors and characters and whatnot. But then after you watched it, you're like, wow, this was a good movie. And you're like, why does this look so familiar? Oh,
Right. Yeah. And never mind.
Why did Han Solo die? Oh, because he was Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's
Right.
why.
Or how it was rife with scientific inaccuracies. You know, Star Wars, the original Star Wars was never scientific, but it wasn't trying to break the scientific rules either. But you were at multiple systems were able to see that Death Star beam from all over the galaxy in real time. Like, seriously? I mean, come on. That took me out. That pissed me off. I mean, I wasn't offended by it. I'm just sitting like, this is stupid. Like, obviously, JJ doesn't know how science works. Like,
with science.
Yeah, with science. Yeah. Just follow the science, guys. It's science. Like, so, you know, you put science in front of it, you can do no wrong. That being said, that was egregious in my opinion too. So,
yeah, there was a lot of things that could have been done right, and you know, when they basically just copied the original movie, that it started to dampen my enthusiasm for the newer movies. When I was like, after watching it once and then again, I'm like, what? It's like deja vu. I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah. I walked out of it liking it, and then I started to think about it.
Yeah.
My old podcast partner, he was like, wasn't it the greatest thing ever? I'm like, I texted him once I got out. I'm like, wow, The Force Awakens. Wow. Pretty wild. He was like, yeah, and you heard Yoda's voice, and you heard Obi-Wan's voice, both of those voices, Ewan McGregor's and Alec Guinness's. I'm like, yeah, that's such a great thing. It was awesome. And then I started thinking about it, and then he started getting pissed at me because I'm like, well, he doesn't know science, and why are they just doing another Death Star? And it's like, pew, 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 pew. They're going to the capacitor. They're like a planet-wide capacitor to destroy this thing, and it just creates a new star after it eats a star. By the way, do you know how much mass that would accrue in that one small spot? You would have a supernova. You would have a supernova if you grab all that mass and put it in place of that star.
Maybe that explains why General Hux was so extra. Why Hux and Kylo Ren were just extra in everything they did.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. So he started getting mad at me because I started poking holes in it. I'm like, I'm just saying. And then Last Jedi, I walked out of it going, that was pretty cool, but there's something nagging me, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And I honestly think that 90% of the problem would have been fixed if they just had Luke actually show up on Crate instead of astral project. I brought this up before, I know.
I think it would have been good if Luke had actually shown up in The Force Awakens.
That too. But they didn't want, and this is stupid because this is the producers and everyone underestimating the value of the audience and the intelligence of the audience. They're like, we don't want those characters to overshadow these new characters that are going to take the mantle far into the future. And with that reticence there, they're like, they pretty much ruined the future. You know, which is unfortunate. I don't know. I mean, nothing I'm saying is new. It's just I ran across a video about The Force Awakens tonight, and I saw little bits of it, and the big thing was it was the anti-prequels movie. And I thought that was an interesting analysis.
Oh my. I mean, yeah. What was sad about it is that when you think about it, That's the problem. Once you start to think about it, then
Yeah.
you start going, there's just something
Off.
off.
Yes.
Just something's off. And what is it? Oh, yeah. I've seen this before. I've seen this Star Wars movie before.
And The Rise of Skywalker, it did the same thing in the sense that they didn't wait in any single scene long enough for you to ruminate over what was happening. Because it was something happens here. Oh, and then something happens here. And then something happens here. And something happens here. You don't get the chance to actually breathe through the movie at all. So, you're just being bombarded by these things constantly. There was just so much movie.
I just sent you something I'd like you to play. This was a live reaction to The Force Awakens and the subsequent sequel trilogy.
Wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!
I am saving that. I am sending that to my former partner. Oh my God. I'm sending that to Elliot, dude. That's awesome.
So
it's perfect.
So there was this radio show on the old here in Massachusetts when we were growing up on WROR, Lauren and Wally.
Lauren and Wally show, BPM, Boston 105. Boston 105.
And then you'd get the you could like win the dashboard statue of the two of them. And then they had this guy Tom Doyle who started doing parody songs about Massachusetts towns and jobs and stuff. And then they did one about I think it's a mall that was actually called the Natick Collection, which is actually a mall in Natick, and it was to he sang a parody of it to the tune of the Rainbow Connection, and then it finished with that clip from Statler and Waldorf. You put those on, and I'm like, so I've tried to find that over the years, and that's just perfect. I mean, the next time someone tells you, oh, what were your reactions to something?
I've got to lift this. I gotta rip this. I gotta rip this this audio. Make it a drop.
Cue it up. Listen to this. Just cue it up.
Okay. Hold on. Go ahead.
Hey man, what'd you think about Star Trek Discovery?
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
That's for you.
That is the gift that keeps on giving.
You can cue this up to anything like, hey, you know what, Mac?
Yeah.
So, hey, you really liked the Picard season 2 first episode? Yeah.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved
And then,
that.
what'd you think of the rest? No, it's like,
Well, it was pretty
this
good.
is where
Well, it wasn't.
This is one of those ones where you were like, because you did like the same.
I did like the first episode.
What'd you think of the rest of the season?
Bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
It's just a spontaneous fall into the booze. that really sold that.
I know, that's one of my favorite parts. Is they just fall into.
Oh, thank God! This is. Oh my God! Thank you for sharing this.
What can I say? There's a Simpsons quote for everything, and there's something and there's also some Henson.
There's some
something from
Statler and
Henson.
Waldorf reaction that's always prudent.
That's perfect. Oh yeah.
I don't think we can end on a better note. What do you think?
I don't know. What'd you think of this show tonight?
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
We can't go out on this song. You know what we need to go out on.
Oh,
Not that, but you know what we need to go out on.
I do. Hold on.
Not the Statler and Waldorf again, wouldn't?
Oh no.
Hold
Hold on. I know what you're doing. Hold on. And
That's not what I was talking about.
too late. You gotta play it.
Which brought Jack to a lady, both beautiful and smart, who found his mix intriguing.
Comfortable in our hearts.
Damn right.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's what we call a callback. So, but I think I know what you want instead. So let's give the people what they want.
Yeah, but do your outro before we dive.
Well,
give us your closing.
All right, everybody. So in the end, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. I am PS McKay. We are those sci-fi guys. It's out there. So long, everyone.
And I'm DT Cavman, and I agree with Statler and Waldorf for a lot of things. But up here on the high ground, you know what I can see? A hurricane's a-coming.
Like a hurricane here in Duckburg.
This is going to be so copyright violated.
Might solve the mystery or rewrite history. Every day they're out there making
There's a lot of hidden gems even in this,
Oh, yeah.
credits too. Bring it down.
behind you. They're stranger out to find you.
They got chased by a mummy here, too.
Every day they're out there making Ducktales.
They told her to sing this song like you can't believe you're singing.
Yeah.
Woo!
And there we are, everybody. So long, everyone. Have a great night.